it's going to look amazing when I'm done. But right now I'm kind of getting annoyed. Hello YouTube! In this video I'm going to turn this apple tree wood bowl, and there is some bad checking over here that's going to be filled later after shaping the outside. But I think this is going to be a very nice project, so please enjoy. Yeah. So I'm probably going to have to fill in these voids more than once, but for now I'm gonna finish off shaping the outside of this. Messed up the live edge as well. Don't really know what I was thinking, but this edge shouldn't be chamfered here. It's going to remove some of the live edge, so that was a mistake, unfortunately. However, I think it's going to turn out nice anyway. It's gonna be fine, probably. This is most likely going to be the last time I'm going to apply this on the outside. I'm probably going to have to do it from the inside as well later, but I probably should have shaped it more before I did this, but I was a bit worried when it was so much checking all over the place. I did want it to be somewhat secured. And this is also a bit of an extreme case of using this kind of glue. It's almost better to just cast it in epoxy and get it filled in like that instead. This is a bit tedious. Going to try out these sanding pads as well. I think this is a 3-inch 60 or 80 grit. 80 grit. I have the 2-inch variant of these as well, and I absolutely love them. They're awesome. So I'm out of 2-inch pads for these ones. The Velcro has been busted on that one, or on the 2-inch. The 3-inch is too big, so I'm gonna have to try with the 1-inch or 25mm. There are 25, 50 or 75. Not sure if this is going to be a good idea. It has a super small shank, so hopefully I won't break it, but who knows. I have sanded it to 120 right now. It's looking pretty nice and smooth. So now I'm gonna put some water on it, raise the grain, and then I'm gonna finish it at 240. And then I'm gonna put on boiled linseed oil. And after that has dried, I'm going to switch it around and start doing the inside. The second I started putting on the oil, the camera battery went dead. Luckily I heard it, so but that's just how it goes sometimes. I'm gonna let this sit for like 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna polish it off with some clean paper. So I'm using the tailstock right now, but I think I'm not going to be able to get any of the material out of here before I have to remove it, but it doesn't hurt to have it on in the beginning anyway, so it's quick to remove it later, so let's just get on with it. Yeah, I'm not gonna get any closer. Might. Such a shame that I took off this corner. I don't like that. But it's not really. Can't really do anything about it now, so. I don't really want to flatten these points as well, because it would make it more symmetrical in appearance, but I'd rather not. I think I'm gonna attempt to make it more swept in to save some of the rim. I might take off a little bit more of the rim as well, but try to go with more of an steep angle into here. Let's give it a try. I reground the edge of this bowl gouge, taking off a bit of the heel so I can get a better angle when I'm doing the inside. Let's keep going. Well, it has potential, but I'm getting a lot of shattering. I'm trying to do the inside here. I just have to keep at it. I figured this bolt turning would be a kind of quick project, but didn't turn out this way, this time at least. Kinda don't want to give up now either. This is taking way longer than I was initially thought it was going to. I think it's going to be worth it though. It's going to look amazing when I'm done. But right now I'm kinda getting annoyed. You really should just do very small cracks with this black CA. There's a hard time properly hardening when it gets a bit thicker and the activator spray can't get to it properly. At the very least I think the edge here is kinda secured now. I really didn't want this to start flexing too much when I'm working on it. It would be really sad if it started to crack on the outside. I do not want that. I actually think it has shifted a little bit, but I can clean that up later. I'm going to polish the outside and inside together later, so small imperfections doesn't really matter. They're going to get taken care of later. can highly recommend these. These are awesome, and not only for wood turning, like overall sanding with a drill. These are really good. You need to be kind of careful when you're using these so you don't overheat them. Once they have overheated too much, the Velcro is just going to get completely destroyed. But it's super strong Velcro as long as you don't ruin it. This one is a bit tapered as well, so it's easier to get into corners. Super good. So here we are. I have ground it with 60 grit right now. So there's some lines. I'm just going to start going up the sanding grits and finish it now. I'm just going to apply this by hand. I really don't think it's safe or necessary to do this with a piece spinning when you have a live edge. But that's just my opinion, probably. I'm going to oil the bark as well, and I'm probably going to put some more on the outside as well. Trying to be careful to not mess up the live edge here. But on apple trees the bark is really strong. So I've heard that you can use shellac as a top coat on boiled linseed oil and other oils for that matter. So I think I'm gonna try that on this one. It has pretty good gloss as it is, but I would like it to be a bit more, and I don't want to spend the time waiting for the oil to cure between the layers. But shellac cures very fast, so I'm gonna give it a try and see if it's a good finisher in combination with oil, that is. So I have this small applicator. It's just some fabric and cotton inside. And I'm basically just going to French polish it. Just keep applying super thin coats over and over. This would probably be way easier if I had a project that I could have turning as I apply it, but I guess I'm gonna find out if it works like this as well. I think I'm gonna avoid the bark. Don't really think I need to add a bunch of shellac to that. Doesn't need to be glossier, and my application skills are probably super bad, but just trying it out. And as I said earlier, it's mainly that I want to be able to save some time finishing these kinds of projects. Using oil is easy to apply, but the drying time for oils are usually really bad. The shellac is like something produced by beetles and then it's soaked in alcohol, so it's not resistant to alcohol spills and such things, but I seriously doubt this is going to get soaked in alcohol anytime, so it will probably be fine. I think it's working. It's getting a bit glossier. It is a bit more streaky than I thought it would be, but I can probably buff that out, hopefully. I think I'm gonna try to keep the coats I put on fairly thick and build it up quickly. And then I can be a bit more conservative. I think the biggest problem is going to be the last polishing of this to get rid of the streaks. But otherwise it's super fast and handy to apply. You get some of that shine. Natural product as well, which I don't mind. Camera isn't picking up the streaks that well, but you can see there is a bit of streaking. I think I'm gonna do 2 or 3 more coats and then I'm gonna try to finish it. I'm gonna try use a brush as well. However, the times I've seen people do this, they usually use a piece of cloth and cotton. I don't know. I think it's better to use a pad. It might be better to use a paintbrush when you're doing the initial layers so you can soak it more. But otherwise I think it's just easier and more handy to use an applicator. I don't really know how many coats I put on now, but it's like 5 or 6, I think, maybe 7. But I still have the problem that it's kind of streaky, and I think the issue is I have a bit too... the shellac is a bit too thick and that makes it unable to flow out properly. I don't have any high grade alcohol because you need alcohol that's really high percentage to mix it with, otherwise it's just going to fail anyway, so I would rather not just use whatever I have in the shop. And I think instead I'm gonna use 1000 grit Scotch-Brite and try to polish it instead. It's not super even. It shows up way better for me than it does on the camera. I like the level of gloss. It's not super intense, but it's still there. I've been trying it a little bit here and I think it's working, so I think I'm gonna have to finish this now with just some paste wax. It looks fine. It is fine, but it could be a little bit better. I think that I'm going to get some isopropanol alcohol in the future on the next project, and I'm gonna try to wet sand it with the alcohol to take down those high spots. I think with some wax it's going to be fine. Just buff it in. I'm gonna give it some time to dry the wax and then I'm gonna buff it. It's super slick, so I think it's going to be fine anyway. So here we are. It feels super smooth, so I'm gonna call it done now. I'm gonna need to put some shellac on the bottom as well, but otherwise it's finished. It would be way better if I had some isopropyl alcohol and made it thinner than it is. I think it's way too thick. As it is now, it's kind of hard to get a good coat. I think it dries too quickly and it's unable to flow properly.